Yo, what's going on, Battlefielders? It's your host, Pwn. How you doing today? I'm still a little bit under the weather. My internet is not yet hooked up, which kind of makes me a sad panda. They have to dig up the ground because the last time anything was put in this area was in the 60s. I didn't even know internet was around in the 60s. Cue takedown number 1. I think I get about 6 RPG helicopter takedowns. This entire game is keeping them out of the sky. And I still lose. I would generally let you keep it, you know, oh, is it going to win? Is it going to... No, I have that one team of crayon eaters. And if you guys do not know what crayon eaters are, that's my little clever description of the people that really don't do much to help the team out, i.e. our team. So these little Crayola consumers are pretty against us winning right now. Anyways, I want to talk to you lads about these rumors that are floating about Battlefield becoming an annual title, coming out every year for us. The skeptical people out there that are like, oh, no. I want to talk about the rumors of it. Whether or not it's true or not, I can't talk on it. I have no clue. But, you know, things like that will come out in time. I think they're honestly rumors. I don't think that'll ever happen. I think it's a bad move for them to do that. Unless they... And I think the sign of Battlefield becoming a yearly title will be the admission of EA and DICE knowing that their titles are about to die. The moment they do that is when they step into the realm of what Call of Duty does, where they repeat the same damn thing every year, and just then it becomes about money instead of gaming. So I think the moment you see Battlefield go on a year-to-year basis is the moment where you realize they know that they've done everything they can with it, and you're going to have the same title every year. So just keep that in mind. I want to talk about the bad, you know, the pros, the cons of if it does go positive or if it does become an annual thing. I don't think it will. This is just a controversial, fun topic to talk about. EA has already said that Titanfall, Battlefront 3, actually, I think it's just going to be called Battlefront. I think it's a reboot, just like how they did Medal of Honor, so it's not going to be the same exact thing. They're going to be taking it in a different direction and only keeping certain aspects of Battlefront from the previous games. So right now, DICE is behind the helm at a lot of these different things. I'm not saying there are different peoples, different players, different teams working on these things. But there were rumors that, I forget the companies, was like Criterion or Visceral or somebody or whoever was supposed to be taking over Battlefield and start doing that on a year-to-year basis. I seriously doubt anyone could take, you know, DICE's responsibility away. I believe it was 1 year. Actually, I think it was the Medal of Honor 2010 reboot. I think it was the, not Warfighter, but the one before that, a couple years before that. I think that they had DICE come in, and in 6 months, they built the entire multiplayer from the ground up. Weren't too many maps. But the game wasn't bad. It had a rocky launch, just like Battlefield 4 did. Damage outputs were just crazy on some of the guns, sniper rifles, big time. It was almost unplayable. When they patched it, the game was great. So I have faith in DICE. That's never going to go away. I have faith in EA too, and it's because I know a lot of the people behind the scenes with EA. I don't really have many DICE contacts. I don't. The people I know are within EA, and there's good people there. They know what's going on. So the situation with what I'm dealing with right here is the thought about Battlefield becoming a year-to-year title, and it scares us. And the reason it scares us right now, we've always been against it because we want them to spend as much time possible to create the most perfect, pristine, playable game possible. But they just had a couple years now, and Battlefield 4 was definitely an embarrassing launch for such a caliber of company of EA and DICE. It was embarrassing. And now a lot of people are even more scared, and they're like, wow, they couldn't do it with a couple years of preparation. How are they going to do it with one? And many of us are going to be sitting there just naturally like not wanting that to happen because we're just afraid of how shitty it's going to be. Now let's take an example. I'm going to use Call of Duty as an example because it's the most popular, you know, annual shooter that we're used to. So with Call of Duty, people always make fun of it because it's the same thing every year. It's because they know people are going to buy it. They're sheep. We as the players, we buy it for a couple different reasons. Either A, we remember the youth, we remember how fun the game used to be, and we buy the game every year hoping that this one's going to be better. That's painful. Hope is a dangerous drug sometimes. And be honest, how many of you guys, you can say it in the comments, we're all friends here, we're all people. How many times have you bought COD, not because you wanted to buy the next COD, not because you were excited for the next COD, but because you were hoping this COD would be better than the next? I'm guilty of it. That's the last couple years, that's how it's been. BO2 was the only one that I was okay with that I thought was an upgrade from any other one in the last 5 years. And that's shady. So that's what's going to happen to Battlefield if it becomes an annual thing. They're not going to be able to innovate enough. Too much innovation is a bad thing. I think they try to dream big on some things. You're going to have your flops. You're going to have your things that go wrong. For example, I don't think they even needed to put in the counter knifing in this game. It makes no fucking sense to do that to me whatsoever. Sniper trails. There are a lot of useless things they just tried to do different that really doesn't have a purpose and you didn't really even need to do. You could have put your time and effort in elsewhere and just kept the same knifing system that Battlefield 3 had. It would have been perfect. So the way things are, they have lots of things on their plate. So the way I see it happening is I expect there to be a 3-year rotation, possibly. Depending on if they bring Bad Company in. I think Battlefield will stay on a 2-year gap. So every 2 years there'll be a new Battlefield title. And I think that Titanfall will be on a 2 or 3 year. And because I think Titanfall's taken 3 or 4 years so far already. It's been around there. I think Titanfall will be on a 3-year, and I think Battlefront will be on a 3-year. There were rumors that Battlefront was supposed to be annual too, but that was just a miscommunication between an interview, I believe. But my reason for this, and this is the sole reason that I feel differently about some of this stuff. When you think about it, how many of you guys have thought this? Just be honest. How many of you guys have thought that knowing that Titanfall is coming out, how many of you have either thought this or said this, that Titanfall and Destiny are coming out, and they are going to be the COD killer? How many of you guys saying that those games are going to be Game of the Year? We've not seen enough of them to even give them close. There's not been a previous title to base it off of. If somebody was to say the next Walking Dead game was coming out and it has a chance for it, you'd believe it, right? Because the last one pulled it. If you were saying so-and-so game that has credibility is doing it. We know what, Respawn Entertainment has done with, Call of Duty. We know what it did for Call of Duty, so we have faith in it. We know what Bungie is, so we have faith in it. But we really do not have any area to say, oh yeah, no, they're going to kill COD. It's going to be the best games. Both of them are definitely looking for Game of the Year. One of those two is going to have it. We all believe that. Do we believe those games are going to be that great? Or is it just us being eager, wanting to have something different? Is it just us so ready to believe that we want something different? So, honestly, I think of, when you think of COD, many people get negative. They're like, I hope this one's better than the last one. That's the negative thinking, and then this is what happens. The next Battlefield title comes out. I'm not going to be thinking, yes, finally it's here. I'm going to be thinking, I hope it doesn't have the same launch issues that Battlefield 4 had. And I know many of you guys are thinking the same thing. That negativity gets in there, and it's embedded, and you're like, oh no, I don't know whether or not I should do that. So it's all about the attitude and thought process. If I come over to your house and I poop on your mat right now, and I come back over tomorrow and I poop on your mat tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen the next day? It's a pattern. That's why people are so disappointed with COD. That's why people are going to be looking for flaws instead of positive things with the next Battlefield one, because we feel like we got screwed over so many times with this Battlefield 4 launch. So people are going to be looking for the negative instead of focusing on the positive, so they're going to let that skip by and it's not going to hit them till later, but by then they may have given up hope. We look at games like Titanfall as being the future. We want something different, or we want stability. And that's naturally deep within the code of people. That's how we are. We want what's comfortable because the unknown's a little bit scary, but it's also promising at the same time. So we look forward to Titanfall with arms open, ready to mouth hug the hell out of it, just like we're ready to praise it and give it Game of the Year already. It's not even here. And we're so eager to do that because we're tired of the same flaws. Now, the problem isn't the game like Call of Duty being the same thing every year. The problem is them saying it's a much better game and it's not. Them saying they've changed so much and nothing's changed. It's the lying that's pissing people off. So it's the business aspect that can scare a lot of people away. They're trying to make money. They say, oh, this is new, bigger, better, upgraded, and that makes them money because people stay hopeful. They attack our hope. And we have this faith and this loyalty to these games, and we don't even need to. It doesn't make damn sense. I don't know you, but I love you anyways. Oh, you touch me like no one else has ever touched me, Dice. I like how you make your games. We just love these games. We've had so many happy hours, so many memories, and we just love them. So, the way I see it, the day that Battlefield becomes a yearly annual shooter is the day I get truly skeptical. It's the day when I honestly feel like that I may need to step aside because then it's about the money machine, and that's what people fear. So, I don't think if they had a year, they would get the game out. I don't think it would be good enough. I think it would basically be DLC. But I think that's what they need to do. They need to either make games with DLC and keep DLC. I would play, and this always goes back to the same feeling. Call of Duty fan or not, you'll go back and you'll play COD 4 because you like COD 4. If COD 4 was to release a DLC right now, I'd go outside and buy COD 4 and play COD 4 DLC. I am straight honest, and a lot of you guys would probably agree with me with that. And that's how it is. If Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 came out with just every 5 years and just kept coming out with DLC every, 3 to 6 months, we'd keep buying it. We don't need a new game every year, but that's how they make the big bucks. That's how they keep pulling us in. So it's basically a cycle. They create a game, they pay IGN for a false review, the game comes out, we're like, oh, this wasn't what we expected, rinse, repeat, we'll do this next time, we'll do this next year, good job, guys. And that's kind of what happens. So I think that's why we're so eager for these games like Destiny and Titanfall to come out. It's because we finally want to change the pace. We want the new standards to be set. We still love the old games, but just things are just different now. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit about how if Battlefield honestly went to an annual shooter, I would probably stop playing it because I know what that would mean. But I stay hopeful and I stay positive that DICE is guiding this still, and they're going to do what they want to and what they need to make this game proper and continue the legacy. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Do you think the same thing about games like COD? They come out every year, they get boring, they get repetitive, but if they change too much, they lose what they are. If they stay the same, they get blamed for being the same. What do you think's the right way to do it? If you were to do it, how would you do it? So thank you guys for your time. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the gameplay commentary. Be sure to teabag that like button as it helps out a lot. Be gentle though. And again, like I said, this was all just for funs. There have been a lot of rumors floating around that Battlefield's going to be a yearly annual shooter, and I honestly hope those prove to be false. But it's just something I wanted to touch on. I don't think it's going to be a realistic sort of situation for a long time, and even then it would be a scary situation. So thank you guys for your time. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Stay warm and stay inside. This weather is a bitch right now, and bitches get smacked. Where's my money, weather?